testing is one of those things that I need to do more of, but it's kind of like I'm looking at this huge ocean of things to A/B test, and it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Are there places like, do you have a preferred site? I've heard you talk about things like Optimizely, or I think I'm saying that right. But do you have any best practices that I could?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the absolute best practice here in your case is to like forget about all this crap, because when you're doing, let's say $500,000 a year in sales, it sounds like on Amazon, you say it's by far and away your biggest channel. That means you're doing a couple $1,000s a month on Shopify or something in that range. And you as a one-man band, as a smaller business, you have to focus on the things that are going to move the needle, not be doing the things that the $10 million brands are doing at this point. And I think that the time you're going to invest, you're going to get diminishing returns on your time compared to doing something more like making another YouTube video.
Okay. And so that even if we're not, because I think I didn't clarify the way that we have our website versus Shopify set up. So I host our actual website, Ketonia Foods, through Kinsta. And then I used to push traffic to the Shopify. Now I basically pay a $30 or whatever it is tax per month, so that I can have it, because it's for some reason it's one of the qualifications to be verified on Pinterest, and that's one of our big social channels. So I kind of we get maybe a couple of sales a month, but when I talk more about A/B testing for the website, I more mean like in that funnel from the social media or Google Ads or wherever I'm bringing the traffic from to the website, and then that optimizing the website through to Amazon. Do you think that that's still kind of pennies when I'm looking for dollars?
Maybe not as, maybe it's more valuable there, because if you're sending paid traffic or amplifying organic traffic, whatever it is, even organic traffic has a cost to it, right? I mean, you're spending time putting up the content and all those things. And so optimizing a landing page actually can be worth the time, because even like a 0.25% difference over the course of a year is a massive change. If you're sending 1,000 people a day, let's do some quick math. 1,000 people a day, 365 days a year, times 0.0025, it's an extra 1,000 people a year, right? An extra 1,000 sales a year, whatever it might be. It's 80 more sales per month, whatever. If you're going to start putting huge dollars behind this, if you find something that works, squeezing a little bit more lemon out of that fruit is important. But don't go crazy. You'll probably find that you can probably get more than a 0.25% change on some things. Maybe it's a full point or something. That's 4,000 customers a year. But you don't need to get down to the hundredths of a percent and try to just, at some point you got to just like good enough, be good enough. And I hate that, because I'm a perfectionist and I like, excelling at everything and really pushing the envelope. I always talk about, the people that win are the ones that put the little bit extra effort in. But there's also, you gotta be smart with your time. It's the most valuable commodity. You don't have an army of people, working on your behalf yet. And until you get to that spot, you got to just acknowledge, okay, I only have so much time in the day. At some point, these other things are more valuable for my time. And I got to let this be good enough. And so, yeah, there are tools for landing pages, Zipify, there's a Shogun. All of them have like A/B testing built in, like into their page builders. And if you're using WordPress, there's ones that are built in for WordPress as well.
All right. Well, so a follow-up on that, since I am someone who has, limited time, what I've been doing is repurposing all of our social media content across platforms. We make everything in the vertical 9:16 style, under 1 minute long videos, and we make it primarily for Pinterest, but then we cross-post it onto Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, and TikTok. it really, I'm hesitant to not do it because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to just use the same content and post it. But am I wasting my time? Should I just focus unilaterally on one of them that's doing the best, or is it a shotgun approach still pretty good for social media?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the shotgun approach, and I think that all businesses should be repurposing their assets and putting them in as many places as you can. If you think about the time it takes to make the asset, let's just say, an hour to make the asset, to then post that on Facebook is 2 minutes. To post it on Twitter is another 2 minutes. To post it on Pinterest, another 2 minutes. It's you're leveraging your time at that point, which is the types of thing I love. It's also the type of thing that I think that when you hire your first employee, we're obviously fans of hiring somebody in the Philippines to help with a lot of these types of tasks that can be, just kind of, you make an SOP and grind through them. These are the things that they're really good at, and so when you think about things eventually, that the first things you take off your plate, I think, are these types of tasks, because you can, for about $600 a month, you can have someone doing that prolifically for you moving forward, plus a whole bunch of other things, right? And then it really can free up your time to do other stuff. But right now, that might not be something you can afford. That $600 a month expense might be too much. And so in the meantime, I think it's good that you do it. But when you start thinking a little bit further down the road, making your first hires, those are the perfect types of tasks to sub out.
Actually, it's funny that you should say that, because I do have a virtual assistant in the Philippines. She's only part-time. If you're listening to this, Rosine, hey. But she's awesome, and I wanted to make sure that I'm not wasting her time, right? Because anytime that she's doing, if she's posting on Twitter and no one's actually ever clicking on it, I have to think to myself, well, could she be doing backlink outreach or some other process that I'd like to have her doing? But no, just since we're on this, right? Yeah. What are some other things that you think are great things to outsource, right? So obviously posting the content that we create, that's something that's really great for a virtual assistant. What are some other things that I should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, our guys in the Philippines are, you just mentioned one of them, link building type outreach. The other one of my favorites is influencer outreach, especially for a product like this. You just start sending your product out to as many people as you possibly can in the influencer space, working on getting partnerships with them. There's lots of keto, lots of diet channels out there, a lot of interest in this stuff, but it's a lot of work going out and getting these partnerships and just kind of trolling through YouTube and other places to find these people. Really good for the Philippines team to do. They monitor our listings, they build our listings, they do keyword research, constantly trying to optimize our listing, making sure everything's indexed properly. You can have them do some PPC work, any customer service, like absolutely, they handle a lot of data stuff. I love what we're really working on lately, just capturing more and more data, like weekly conversion rate tracking, looking at our BSR, looking at cause and effect stuff, like when you make a change, recording the date that you made a change and all the statistics around that, and then looking back days or weeks later and seeing if that line in the sand was the thing that kind of helped or hurt something, and then going back and reiterating based on that. So there's tons of stuff that can be done. My biggest piece of advice would be to make this person full-time, and instead of having them be part-time, so they can focus on just your stuff and fill their plate up with a bunch of things that that are manpower intensive, but can be done at the $600 a month rate, that can really help free up some of your time, but also just take your business to the next level by getting those types of things done.